morning. This is for academic on Tuesday, August 31st. Give me a second. I need to pause. All right. So we just went over the homework again. The big question on D, the reason why 599 is an outlier is because there's a big old gap between the next number and 599. 132, I would still consider a part of the data. I would really say it's an outlier because between that and its next number is not that extreme. All right. We are going to hop into today's notes. It's a lot of what we talked about yesterday, so hopefully this is just going to re-emphasize it. Maybe it'll refresh, and then we'll sort of tie it to something new. So starting with this, I'm going to start with this thing down here. It looks a little weird. It's like a line with a box and then another line, right? You'll see that? Yeah. Yes. All right. So talking about yesterday, we had our people and we listed them high order least groups, right? Okay, we said at the very bottom was our lowest value. What was the other word that we use sometimes for lowest value? Minimum. Minimum, very good. So that's our minimum. Min. I'm just gonna put min. Are we okay with min? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. That's also our lower extreme. Okay, you're copying along. If you're at home, make sure you maybe have these breaks or something like that. Okay, lower extreme or the minimum. On the opposite side would be our maximum. Maximum. I'm just going to put the max value or our, instead of lower extreme, it's going to be the upper or higher. Yes, same thing. Upper extreme. Very good. Okay. So when I cut it in the middle, the other word for middle is median. Very good. Is our median. We're going to come back to fill in those other bullet points. Okay. So just a review, percentage-wise. If we were over here, that was what percent? 25. If I'm starting, that's 0. At the very opposite end, that would be 100%. When I cut it in half, that's going to mark my 50 or halfway, 50%. Okay? And then we broke it up from there again. When I broke 50% in half, that's going to be what percent? 25. If I break my first 50 in half, that's going to make it 25. What was the name that we gave that first 25%? Ellie? Q1 or quartile 1. Very good. So you can put first quartile, or Q1. Okay. You might also call it your lower quartile. Okay, and on this graph, where this box starts marks that Q1. We're going to talk specifically about the box with these lines that come off of it, but I'm sort of reviewing from yesterday as well. So again, that marks, I'm going to just put 25% over here, just as a reminder. Okay, when I go into my second half of data, and then I split that, that was called, what's this one? 75% Q3, very good catch. So either the third quartile or Q3. Okay, and we would also call that, right there. That's our upper quartile. Right. Now, we had Q1 and Q3. Did we talk about Q2? Where's that one hiding? That's 50%. So that's, I'm going to go back and add Q2 right there. Because that's my second quartile. Or, yeah, you could call it your mid. No one ever calls it the second quartile. They always just call it the median. But, sure, mid quartile. Second quartile. And where's Q4 hiding? It would be the 100% if you want to add it. We don't really ever call it Q2 or Q4, just because we have other names for those things. Okay? And then the last little box that we're missing. I see that it's marking from right here, which is Q1, all the way to over here, which is Q3. What was that thing that went from Q3 to Q1? Ellie's got energy, yes. Interquartile range. Everyone say that? Very good. That's a long word. Okay. Interquartile range. What was the letters that we used instead? IQR, because you're saying human beings, we don't want to write out that whole word. That is very fine. Okay, again, that is the range of our numbers from the inner quartile. That's where like the meat of our data is. Remember, it's where you take out the shorties and the really tall people. It's where that average is. Okay, so that's going to be Q3 minus Q1. Woo! Doing good. Okay, so you'll notice today I did just have like 4 boxes. I have a box right here, and then 2 whiskers coming off of it. Okay, and that box is split into 2. Okay, so since it's splitting it, that's my first quartile right here. That's my second quartile, third quartile, fourth quartile. Each piece is going to represent what percent? 25%. 25%. So if you want to go ahead and mark that, this whole piece is 25%. This whole piece is 25%. 25%. And 25%. Okay? Today we're going to notice that sometimes the whiskers, those things that come off the boxes, those are called whiskers. Sometimes those can be longer or shorter. Sometimes the box can be bigger and smaller. Sometimes our median won't be exactly in the middle. Hopefully we're going to get a chance to sort of explore why that is. Okay? But I'm letting you know it's always going to work 25%. So let's go up and fill in these boxes real quick. So again, a box plot breaks data into quartiles, which is what we learned about yesterday. Quartiles are what percent? Quartiles are 25%. Box plot breaks it into quartiles. It measures the variability in data. Variability. It's saying how much it changes. Each section represents what percent? What? 25. Say it louder and prouder. 25. Very good. Because they're called quartiles, they represent 25%. And the last little bit, interpreting box plots means looking at the measures of spread. Hopefully my different colors are helping track all words. All right. Once you get all those words copied down, you can put your fixed stats line or you're ready to go. All right, here we go. So let's make our first box plot. This list of numbers is from last night's homework, but I'm going to go ahead and work it as though I haven't done it. What's the first thing I always do with a list of numbers? Izzy? Least or greatest. Y'all help me out. What's the smallest number? 132. 132. Then? 183. Then? 191. Okay. Yeah. Let me pause and give y'all a second to get a list. Ready, set, go. Okay. What's after 191? 237. Next. 251. Next. 279. Next.
77.
This is a 77.
What about the 234?
234. Oh, that's a 334.
Oh.
You're good. You're good. 277. Then 279. Then 300.
No.
Okay, let's check. Okay, 132 I marked off. 183 I marked off. 191 I marked off. 237. 251. This is why we mark them off. 277. 279. 334. And then 448. And then 599. I should have how many numbers? 10. Thank you for giving me some actual numbers. All right, so let's start with this. Okay, we're going to start out small and build our way up. I am going to call on not so volunteers. So starting with my minimum and my maximum, that's like my least and my greatest number. Victoria, can you tell me my minimum value? It's my smallest value. 132. Thank you, ma'am. My maximum. Cole is 599. Awesome. Halfway there. Ish. Okay, let's find the median next. Before I pull a stick, let's everyone take a chance to find the median. If there are 10 numbers in my list, is it going to split 2 or is it going to be 1? Split 2. Okay, so find that median. Take a second. All right. Tristan, did you figure out where it's going to be in between? You're still working. Keep working. You're good. Okay, where's it splitting, class? Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, let's double check. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There should be how many on the other side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Okay, when I split those two numbers, raise my hand. What do I need to do? Juliana. I need to add those two numbers. So let's do that. 277. Oh, I'm not right. 277. And then plus 251. 7 plus 1 is 8. 5 plus 7 is, here's 1, 528. Now I need to divide by 5. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. 528 divided by 2. Let me scroll back up so we can see. That goes at 2, 4, 1, 5. Okay, oh, okay. So, does 264 make sense in there too? Does it fit in between? Yes, it does. Our median is 264. Now, when it's splitting those two, remember I still include 251 on that side. It is not claiming to be the median, so it still gets to say I'm a part of this party. 277 is still a part of the second half party. Y'all can finish up eating those chips. So fair enough. All right, so Q1 again is the median of this first half. Oh Lord, one second, sorry, that was my bad. The median of this first half. What would be the median of that first half of numbers? Read. What would be the median of these first few numbers? Very good. 191 would be my Q1 because it's that median of that first half. Okay, finding Q3, the median of the other half. Chester. Very good. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
Awesome job. Okay, so those are my 5 important parts. Those are the 5 points I need to make a box plot. Okay, we're going to actually make our box plot now. You only need those 5 points in order to make it. Okay? Okay, so that's why we're going to fix it now. We're good. We're correcting our mistakes. So on this number line, I have no numbers. So let's add some. I need to go from like I need to make it cover like the hundreds to 600. Just because I know the key, I'm going to start at 100. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to put 200. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 300. It's going by 25. 1, 2, 3, 400.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what did you put at 30.132?
We will, yes. I'm just making our number line. I haven't actually plotted it out, so just hold on to your seats. Yes, our first number will be 132, but I'm just putting numbers so I know where it's at. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on tight. We are going fast. So you've been out for a couple of days, so you're catching. Okay. Again, at home, if you need to pause and just play once you've done it, I know I'm moving a little quick. But this isn't the important. All right, so I'm going to plot these 5 points. Okay, so when I plot the numbers, I'm going to plot the dot above the number line. You'll see. We already said that we're counting by each tick mark is going to be how much? 25. Okay, so if I'm going 132, I need to go 100. This is going to be 125. It's going to be sort of in the middle. Okay, so notice again that I'm putting it above the number line. I'm going to go plot 599. That's going to be right before 600. Again, it's going to be above that number line. 191. This is 100, 125, 150, 175. It will be somewhere here. 264. This is 200. 225, 250, so a little bit after. And then 334. Count with me. This is 300. This would be 325. I need to go a little bit further. Right there. Okay. I'm just plotting them. I'm going to go ahead and label them just because they'll help me. Again, this first value was my minimum. This one was my maximum. You don't have to put the actual numbers because we have them listed up here. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. This was my Q1, my Q3, and then median. I'm just going to put med for median. Again, I'm just labeling them for now. Typically, you don't have to do that. I just want you to know which dot means what. Okay? So, I have found those 5 points, and I plotted those 5 points. I'm going to put a box around my middle 50, or my quartiles. Okay? So, that's going to go from Q1 to Q3. I'm putting a box around Q1 to Q3. At the median, I'm going to put a line through it. Then from there, I'm going to extend my whiskers. So from Q1 to the minimum, and from there out. It makes more sense. And we're still absorbing. We'll do another one together, don't worry. Okay, so let's look at that. That box plot looks a little different. What's weird about that one? It looks uneven. But does that mean we did it wrong? No. Okay, so let's look at why that's like, I'm specifically looking at this whisker over here. So like, what? That's not even at all. Okay, because what we said each quartile is going to mark what percent? 25. So this 25%, you're saying that's the same thing as this? It is. Okay, let's look at what is changing that. So let's look at the difference between Q3 and the maximum value. What was the difference between Q3 and that maximum value? 334 and 599. Is that a big gap? Yes. Let's compare that to this little whisker over here. So between the minimum value in Q1, the minimum value in Q1, is that gap a lot smaller? Yeah. That's about what, like 60, 70, somewhere around there, versus from here to 599. Again, that's like 200, right? So what's causing it to be spread out like that is because my numbers are super spread out. They're skipping a lot of numbers. When they're super close together, that's what's going to make it short. But it's still representing 25% because it's still like the same numbers. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And that's like why we were saying that this one was like an outlier because it's sort of like stretching it out. Okay, that's why I said that one over there is not really an outlier. That's where it fits in. Okay, but we're still going to include it together. So let's just do another one together just so we get another thing under our belt. Okay, so open up your packet. Let's just do another problem together so we can let it digest. Y'all are doing great, by the way. Awesome job. You are. You are. Pat on the back. All right, here we go. Next one. All right, so Mrs. Harden's math class of 28 students took a geometry unit test, and the results from the test were organized into the box plot shown below. Okay, so they've made the box plot. We have to just read it. So let's review. What does this first line mean? That is my minimum value. So if you want to label it, go ahead. My minimum value. On the opposite side, this is my maximum value. Okay. Okay, I have my box. That line in the middle of the box is the median. You're good, you're good. Okay. And that would mark what percent? The median marks 50%. Good, good, good. Okay. Between the minimum and the median is Q1, just that's one. Between median and maximum is Q3. Questions?
Okay, so why it looks like the median is low.
It looks a little off. And it's the same reason as before. The numbers that the actual scores between Q1 and the median are probably just a lot closer together. Like it could be like 55, okay, so it's 55 and 65, so those numbers are just closer versus these numbers are just more spread out. Like the grades themselves are just more spread out. We'll practice this a little bit more and get more comfortable. Shame. All right, so let's identify the different parts. The lower extreme is the same thing as the minimum. So give me a second, I'm going to pull for. What is the minimum value? Madeline, what do you think the minimum value is? 40. The maximum value, Carly? 90, very good, awesome. Okay, notice how it's not 0, because do I have a data point out at 0? Okay. Izzy, what do you think the median is?
65.
I agree. Okay, Q1, Amelia? 55, and Q3 would be what, Juliana? 80. Are we okay with that?
Yeah.
Getting more comfortable. Again, as you do more examples, it gets better. Okay, letter B, it says calculate the range of the data. Calculate the range. That's when you take the high minus the low. Sophia Z, can you help me out? What would be my high value? What did we say our high value was? 90. And we're going to take our 40. And what are we going to do? What operation? Sophia, subtract them. Okay, class, what do we get when we subtract those? 50. Very good. It's good for when you look back, because if you just wrote 50 and you're like, where did that come from? I mean, that's the range of the data. That's not saying they got an average of 50. That means the range of their scores was good, which also isn't good. Okay, because, yeah. Okay, pause. Okay, so yes, the lowest is 40. The range just shows, like, remember when we talked about it at first, it's like how consistent the class is. Okay, so my range is 50 points. Is that a pretty big range or a pretty small range? 50 points, that's a pretty big range. That means I'm getting a range of 50 points of scores. Yeah. But again, that's not really good. You probably want a lot more A's and B's, right? So that would be like a smaller range. That's like 20 points or 10 points. That's a pretty big range. To find the interquartile range, what did we do again? Very good. So Q3 is 80 minus Q1, which is 55. Take a second. Don't shout it out. Take a second. I know you didn't say it. Okay, what did y'all get? 25, very good. Okay, so let's look at these last few questions. So now we're getting into questions about percent. So let's just review. What percent of students scored 80% and above? So we need to find 80% right here on the graph and above. What percent did that mark? 25, because that's from Q3 up. That would be 25%. So again, it said what percent of students scored 80% and above? 80% was right here, and above would go all the way from here. So from Q3 to maximum, remember that marks 75%, that would be 25 total percent, from 75 to 100. Remember, each part marks how much? This marks, that's 25. This marks 25. This marks 25, and this one marks 25. Even if it's bigger or smaller, it's always 25%. Okay, letter E. What percent of the students scored 55 and above? So let's find 55 and above. Okay, so that's this way. What do y'all say? 75, because again, starting here, this is going to be 25, 55, 25, 50, 75. Each part is 25. So it's a total of 75%. It takes a little, it might take your brain a little bit of adjustment to Yeah. Okay, and letter F, what percent of the students scored between 40 and 65? Okay, between 40 and 65. So from 40 to 65, what do we say? 50. Awesome. I hear the confidence. Love it. Okay, and the last one's talking about shape of distribution. So let's take it back to like, okay, take it back to like symmetrical. Take it back to left skew or right skew. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. So on average, we could say that is, I would probably say it's symmetrical. Okay, I know it's a little, like, I know the median's just a little bit off, but for the rest of it, let's compare it, okay, just pause. Let's compare it to the other one we just did. Let's compare it to that one.
Sure.
Is that one symmetrical?
No.
Yeah, okay, that one's close enough. Okay, we're gonna say mostly symmetrical. Amelia, what about it? Yeah, but we're just gonna say it's close enough. Okay, we're gonna say we tried our best. Yes, ma'am, Ellie. The cat whisper? Yeah, oh yeah, just cut the whisper. Okay, if we went back to this one though, okay, going back to that first page, how can we describe the shape of that? Skew, oh, where's the tail? Where's it sort of stretching out? Right, because that tail is on the right. Oh, okay. So while we've gotten some under our belt, let's do a few more on our own. Okay, a few more on our own. Okay, guys, so you can check those last two problems on your own. For the homework, make sure you do the test review, that's too smart in class. And then from the homework page, just pick 3. Again, on the bottom of this page, you can check those